Hello there. Today I'll talk about image generation for your ads that uses a combinational method instead of heavy prompting. For this video, we'll utilize 4 images as given. The second image will be our product we want to place in this ad, and the fourth image is the model we want this product to be held by. I'm using Sylvester Stallone, but you do not get to use him if you don't ask for permission in your ads. Be aware of that, so don't use real people. I'm just showcasing a demonstration here, so I believe it's fine. The third image will be the art style I'm trying to steal from this cool looking poster I have found. And because this drink is about that, being like with La Muerta branding, and also it's Halloween time, we are using a graveyard for our environmental inspiration. With these 4 images, we'll get results that look like this. Outlined what each model would be best to use for. Dream generates you photorealistic results. If you get closer to here, you can easily see them. But if you use Nano Banana, it uses a highly artistic stylization. It understands that we are trying to steal from the poster's art style, so it uses a more poster-looking structure, but it uses a lot of the realism that comes with the character and the product we are trying to showcase. But if that's your cup of tea, you can use that, of course. And I believe the best of the both worlds is Flux Context Max. It is showcasing the product and the person in a very photorealistic kind of image, but it also uses the stylization that comes from the poster, and it also uses the poster's main features in this one. So it changes a bit from generation to generation, and I'll explain why this change was happening. But you can know that Flux Context gives you this photorealistic kind of images in the stylization you want, while Nano Banana heavily relies on the stylization and Seed Dream heavily relies on photorealism and real world environments. If you expect your images to look like a shot in a studio or heavily realistic with models holding the real products, I would suggest using the Seed Dream. But if your brand requires a bit more stylization, you should go with Flux Context Max or Nano Banana based off how much stylization you require in your images. So let's get back to the process, how I achieved these images. I have labeled the images as image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. It helps that when you replace the real photos images with these kind of attributions, just when you download this image, rename this file as image 1 and rename this file as image 2 instead of having their default names. And then you prompt it like this. The man from image 4, as you see, it's our model, sitting similar to pose in image 3, so it looks at the poster to understand the pose. In his hand is the bottle from image 2, so it knows what our product is. The environment is inspired from the image 1, so it's not exact environment, but it is inspired from, so the image generation should know it's a cemetery, it has some weird green creatures from looking from it, and it understands those to inspire from instead of literally use this one-to-one. So let's look at one by one what each of the models generate for us. This is the Seed Dream one. As you can see, it relies heavily on photorealism. As I mentioned in the beginning, the models versus stone is very realistic, with the product is looking realistic as well. It looks like there is props in the modeling, and the background is just added in the post process. It doesn't really look well when you are trying to create this kind of fictional environment. And when you want to achieve this poster-like look, it looks a lot more realistic and shot in a studio than a highly stylized ad image. So it doesn't fit our use case here, but if your use case leans more towards the realism of it, photorealism and real-world usage, this is the model for you. Taking a look at Nano Banana now, we can easily see this is a highly stylized, and it loses some of the poster-like features from in these generations, but it has the poster-like seeds that come once in a while, so you might want to try again and again if this stylization of the poster is really important to you. In my case, it kind of was, like I wanted to keep that poster look there, and I really wanted to keep the royalty text at above. So these two achieved that, while these 3 were cool images. They didn't achieve the royal. They didn't keep the royalty text. I didn't like that necessarily, but this image generation was well, and it was using a lot of the stuff I have mentioned, while not being fully there. It is a usable one in that regard. But you can clearly see the Nano Banana one uses stylization a lot more than Seed Dream, as the Seed Dream person was very photorealistic with real life looking likeness of the facial features, while this one is a bit inconsistent in that regard. While we can see there is highly drawing like elements in this one, and photorealistic looking, but not really achieving great results with its generations from time and time again. And if your thing was high stylization or maybe drawing like images, and maybe if you just want to copy a style like the Nano Banana would work better in that regard. Then we have the flux context ones, and they are actually pretty well. You can clearly see that it understood that the person was wearing an armor, and it tried to implement that as well into the image. While I don't necessarily enjoy that, it's great to see that it understands there was a man in suit there. So instead, I liked these two generations better. It kept the royalty text above as I wanted. Like this is the pretty better version for me because it has those like slimy goo stuff from the cemetery environment that I wanted it to inspire from. It has the person with the product with the royalty text. This is a pretty great result that you could run ads to simply. But there's a simple process that we could get much better images out of the same models. And it requires us to simply ask Gemini or any other model in their text version, of course, with using their smartest version. For this one, I use Gemini 2.5 Pro to simply paste in our prompt from the beginning, and I asked it to create an image generation prompt with this, but use my composition as I have given it in the above, like this prompt, but like use this composition to create an image generation prompt, basically. It created, like this is a highly detailed image generation prompt for this use case. It basically keeps the style and composition described here because of this description, and the style and composition is like locked in, and the environment is also explained well. I like that. And there's also an explanation of our subject and pose, and this was a bit kind of challenging to use. There was a mention of tool sucking here, and you will see why that's a bad thing. It also mentions this is a Japanese art print, so it kind of polluted some of the outputs we got. But if you were to read over this prompt, you can basically delete some of the stuff out. Maybe Sylvester Stallone is okay, but you do not really want the tool sucking information to be there, so I could just remove that and use this. I want the bottle of La Muerta gin. That's an important information to have. It knows what to write on the bottle. Maybe remove the Japanese as well, but just say like layered style of art print. You do not really want to give that Japanese token there, and you do not, you most certainly don't want to include tool sucking there, because the image generation will confuse what to write, and it will sometimes write tool sucking at the above instead of our loyalty text, and you will see that now as I show you the images. So let's look at what happens when we run this enhanced image generation prompt, but keep in mind I deleted Japanese and tool sucking right now. These outputs were before I deleted the Japanese art print and the tool sucking information from the prompt. You will easily see why you do not want them. This is the seed dream generation. It understands the like royalty text should be there. It understands that well, and it also got the composition and the image pose that we want, but it also does not really understand how to make this non-photorealistic. Like it always leans hard into the photorealistic style, and that's why we got these photorealistic mans sitting in these really not real looking environments. Our inspiration wasn't photorealistic, so Seed Dream uses those fictional references and combines it this photorealistic man. It doesn't really understand everything should be in a coherent way, so we get this kind of off-looking images. With the Nano Banana, we got the heavily stylized look again. It even made a big mistake here, using the product image as is and replacing our man with the man in armor. It doesn't really replace the model, but it wrote tool sucking. Why did you write tool sucking then? And it writes tool sucking every time. It doesn't care about the loyalty text above, but instead we get the tool sucking because there was information about how this was the Sylvester Stallone character from the TV show. It tries to put the tool sucking at the top, while we did not want anything like that. But it is a stylized image that is consistent with its style. If we do not look at this one, these two look pretty great. Maybe not this one, with there is some confusion going on in his hand. But if you look at this is a heavily stylized look. It features our character model and it features our bottle of the product. And it is like the nearly a perfect replication of our main poster. So I like the banana in this regard. If you are heavily leaning towards this stylized look, use this. Last but certainly not least, let's check the Flux Context Max out. This is one of the better generations, but it also showcases why I wanted to remove that Japanese art style token from the prompt. Because when you write Japanese art style, it tries to write everything in Japanese. Let's just look at this. There should be a Latin text at here. Even if it's not royalty, it should at least be tool sucking. But instead of royalty or tool sucking, we get some Japanese stuff like everywhere. So these three generations, while the images are looking cool, I don't think we do really want to use, because they do not feature our text at the top as a header, and they are not really consistent with the style we've given. But this one was a great version. While like his position is not perfect, it features the style very well. It captures it very well. And this one was a bit more like Dracula vibes, but it gets the job done. Like, it has our style, it has our man, it has our product, it has our environment. It's a pretty good one with consistent stylization all across. We get the output we want out of these three, but the Japanese art style information kind of ruined these two for me. And this one does not have any header, but you can easily add that in any image editing software, or maybe rerun this a few more times with this as an input image to get a better output. But I believe like this is a great mix between like product utilization, model, and stylization. This is a very well put together poster. I believe Flux Context Max was the model I want to go for when I try to create something stylized, but featuring photorealistic people or products as well. Overall, looking at everything we have covered so far, I believe like you can go very far with a simple prompt such as this, but it's even simpler prompt to add and rerun this vision you have in your head to be translated into a big paragraph of prompting. Actually kind of works better to get great results. And we have today learned Seed Dream is for photorealism only, I think. It doesn't do stylization well. But if you were to simply look at Flux Context Max outputs, you will easily see how much it improved when you run the prompt through another AI model to get a better, much clearer prompt. And that's about it for today's video. This was a video on how you can use inspiration prompts and multiple images to coherently create an ad-ready image from these three models. My vote goes for Flux Context Max for this competition. I'm gonna use that moving forward if I want a stylized, ad-ready image that also uses photorealistic models or AI generated or not. And when I want to put products in, I like that Seed Dream keeps a lot of the things consistent, but it doesn't feature stylization for us. If you run across any problems, just comment them down below and I'll try to fix them for you. See you in the next one.